Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos. And if you're here for a second, third, or fourth time, thank you so much for coming back and getting creative. Alright guys, this is another fun painting for my first time painters. So grab your supplies. There is no traceable for this one, so we're going to jump right into painting. And as always, make sure you take your progress photos. So as we start this painting, we're going to start with a large flat brush and we're going to lay our base colors in for our background. So we're going to take that large flat brush, add a little bit of water to it, and then we're going to make it a light blue. So we're starting with the white, adding a tiny amount of blue to make a light blue. And your shade may be a little bit darker or lighter than what I'm using. Mine's actually on the pretty light side. And we're going to place a horizon line maybe about 4 or 5 inches from the bottom, make a little dot on either side, and then you're going to connect each of those dots. And again, I apologize that mine's not dark enough. Hopefully you guys can see that at home. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our sky color. So we're making more of that light blue, and we're going to be filling in from that line we just made all the way to the top of the canvas. So this is a great place to kind of get comfortable with the process of painting, applying enough paint, what it feels like. And generally, I do recommend that you apply your paint just a little bit thicker than you normally would, especially if this is your first time painting. That will help with some of your blending and a little bit coverage if you apply it a little bit thicker. So now we're making just a little bit darker light blue than what we just had. So I added a little bit more blue to that mixture. And if yours is, like I said, a little darker or lighter than mine, totally okay. And we are taking that all the way to the top of the canvas, and everything from that horizon line to the top of the canvas should be filled in by now. If you're on a stretched canvas, I do recommend that you take this color around the sides of the canvas, top of it, just so that way it looks nice when you hang it on your wall. So now we're going to be using more of that direct blue, and we're going to go right underneath that horizon line that we did earlier. And you can see a distinct difference between the light blue and the darker blue. And we're going to make this space maybe about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches wide. This is the ocean, and then we're going to put our sand color on there. All right, so a good place to pause the video and take your progress photo. We're going to clean the brush really good and move into white and raw sienna. So I'm grabbing a little bit of that white, going to put it onto another spot on the plate, and a little bit of raw sienna and actually a little bit of white paint to make our mixture for the sand. Now if you want, you can do just the white and raw sienna, but it's a pretty cool color, so to warm it up you add a little bit of yellow. But if you don't have yellow, just skip that and you can use your white and raw sienna. And again, your sand may be a little lighter or darker than mine, totally okay, but you're going to be filling in the remaining portion of the canvas. And if your blue paint is still wet, be very cautious and a little more controlled as you bring the light tan, the sand color, up to the water color, ocean color. All right, and now we're grabbing some of that direct raw sienna and mixing it into that base that we just had put on there. And using light pressure, you'll feel that darker color kind of squish into that base on there. The more you move your brush, the more they mix together. So you're learning nice core foundational art skills today in this painting. All right, then we're going to clean the brush. We're going to grab a little bit of white, do the same thing, just give a little bit of a highlight on that bottom left-hand corner of our sand. And again, another place to just practice what we call wet on wet blending. And see where I slap that white on there, and then as you blend it, that white changes color and mixes with the color underneath. All right, guys, you're doing a great job. Another spot to pause the video and take a progress photo. I do want you to fully let this dry before you move into this next step. And with this next step, we're going to be putting the base of the umbrella, and you are more than welcome to switch out colors. I'm going to be using red and the pointy brush, and you can make your umbrella as big as you want. I'm going to make mine kind of small. So I'm kind of placing a dot where I want the top center of the umbrella to be, and then going below that about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches, and that's going to be the width of my umbrella. And then we're going to make a little arc to the right and then a little arc to the left. Don't overthink it too much. You got this. And if you just treat your brush kind of like a pencil, it'll make it a little bit easier for you. But if your lines are a little wider than what I'm doing, totally okay. And if your umbrella is bigger than what I made, totally okay. I'm just really glad that you are painting. Now the part that I'm doing right now is optional. I pictured my umbrella having the little flaps below the frame. If you don't want to add that on yours, you don't have to. But if you want to, just kind of observe the little flimsy little curvy lines at the bottom, and we'll fill those in with paint later. So great job, you guys. Now we're going to clean the brush, same pointy brush. We're going to go to black paint. We're going to put the pole, the structure of the umbrella, moving right down. Remember to breathe. If your brush is shaky as you go to make these lines, that means you're holding your breath. So exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas. And then for our chairs, we're going to make just kind of basically like kind of a stick design. And I want you to just observe what you see and mimic that to the best of your ability at home. And we're going to break up the chairs into probably about 3 different ways, or 3 different sections that we're going to make. So first one's this kind of angled line, and notice that it starts above the horizon line and then goes down into our sand area. And then we're going to kind of give it a top on that left-hand side, and that's the top of the chair. Okay, remember to breathe. You're doing great. Then we're going to go to the other side. I think I was even figuring out how I was going to structure this and break it down for you guys at home. So same thing, that angled line, and then the support structure on the top section. And again, if your line is a little wider or thinner than mine, totally okay. And then we're doing the opposite support structure. And that would be the back leg and the armrest. And this will be the extent of our structure for our chair right now. We're going to let this dry a little bit, and then we'll come back to adding the cloth and then the other leg on there later on. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to go back to the red paint or the color of your choice for your umbrella, and we're going to fill that in and do a little bit more of the wet on wet blending for some of our shading. You guys are doing a great job. I'm proud of you. I have mentioned that you need to breathe and relax, but if you do notice that you're holding your breath, just exhale, laugh at yourself a little bit, and keep on painting. You will notice that a lot of stuff that you learn in your first painting will make more sense the second, third, and fourth time that you paint. So if you find today's painting kind of frustrating, just know that it does get easier and more comfortable, and you should be very proud of yourself for stepping out of your comfort zone and giving painting a try. This is not about being perfect, but building on your skills one at a time. All right, so now we're going to take a dark red that's black, or actually start with the red, add a little bit of black. We're going for like a darker burgundy. And you'll notice that a little bit of black pigment goes a long way when you're mixing your colors. And here we're just giving a little bit of depth to the umbrella. So take a look at generally where I place it, and kind of like the sand, you're going to blend it into that red base paint. You're doing a great job. We're going to clean that brush, and we're going to grab white paint next and do a few little highlights. And again, we're going to place the white paint. I want you to observe where it's placed and mimic that on your canvas. Then we're going to wipe the brush off and go back and with light pressure, push this color into that red base. You're doing great. Remember to breathe. There you go. Clean the brush, wipe it off, and with almost a dry brush, just go back and go right over that with a little bit of pressure, and you'll see how it diffuses into the red paint. And this is a skill, this wet on wet blending, you're going to do in quite a few paintings that you do in the future. So you're just now beginning the skills. All right, doing good. Now we're going to still use that pointy brush. We're going to go back to the chairs, and we're going to create the kind of the cloth seat area. And again, if you want to change colors, you can. I'm using white. And then we'll put some black stripes in here. So we're going on that outside frame of the chair, and just kind of filling that in, and then we'll do a little bit up in that corner right there, and then that's going to be it. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, with painting, it does not have to be perfect. We're just creating the illusion of this perspective and the fact that these chairs are sitting at a nice kind of calm beachscape. All right, doing good. And then after we put this in, we'll be going back to our other colors, doing a little bit of the shading, adding the other leg and stripes on our cloth. All right, so back to the black, the bottom section of the chair, and then the other leg. And again, these are just lines. And as you're making these, if you need to rest your forearm against the edge of the table or put your pinky out to a dry spot on your canvas and use that as your pivot point, adjust for what you need. And if you need to turn the canvas sideways or upside down to make some of these lines, go right ahead and do that. All right, so I missed a spot over there. So just adding a little bit more white to my chairs. All right, so we're going to put a little shadow underneath the chairs. So you can let that black paint dry, or you can just be very cautious as you come up next to it if your paint is still wet. And just right underneath that, taking the raw sienna, and that sand is already wet, so it's not going to blend like it did before. So we're just basically placing this on top of the dry paint. There you go, and just a little bit of a wiggle into it. It does not have to be perfect. This is something that as you look at it from a distance makes a little more sense than maybe up close as you're looking at it. So I do recommend that you get out of your chair and look at your painting from a distance of like 5 to 10 feet away. All right, going back to the white, I'm going to put a few little highlights on the section of the chair. And these are just little lines. They don't have to be perfectly straight. They don't have to fill in the whole area, but putting a few little highlights on the structure of our chair. Then we'll put in the black stripes, and that will be our final step. Oh, and we got birds in the sky too. All right, so I do hope that you guys have enjoyed your first painting, and don't wait too long to do your next painting. All right, last step with the black paint, putting the stripes right on top of the white. Little bit of a curve. They're not perfectly straight. And we're going to do this on both chairs, and then we'll be doing birds in the sky in the top left-hand corner. All right, you guys, great job. Thanks so much for hanging out and painting with me. Please do not wait too long to get creative again. And until next time, cheers. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of painting, and I hope how you liked how your paintings turned out. I'm really proud of you for painting at home. As you're uploading your pictures to social media, please tag me at or hashtag paintwithlovejoy, or email me your pictures, paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. I really enjoy seeing those. I try to post them on social media and encourage other beginners and first-time painters to try painting. So please share this with your community and keep getting creative. If you have any comments, feedback, suggestions, things you want me to paint in the future, go ahead and leave a comment, and I will answer them as quickly as I can and try to get those new paintings in my production list and on the rotation. So thanks again for taking time out of your day to get creative with me. Don't wait too long to do your next one, and until then, cheers.